Take a listen to this one.
That means whether you want to learn to fly, charter an airplane, or see more girls like me, Avi can help.
Oh, that sounded like a cat.
Girls like me, Avi Luke can help.
That's a cat.
In this video, you can hear
That's 100% a cat.
Help for girls like me, Avi Luke.
Bro, have you ever had sex before? Coop? That's not a sex noise. That's a cat noise. Coop?
Luke can help.
In this video, you can hear what appears to be a dude moaning.
He thinks that's a dude moaning.
Avi Luke can help.
Oh, that's a man's noise. No, it's not.
Avi Luke
No, it isn't.
can help for girls like me.
No, come on, man. That's not it. That's not it. You're on the you're meowing up the wrong tree here. Hey, it's the Goblin Queen. You know what? I think I'd like to watch something. And I saw somebody mention in the chat, Skeletino. How's a chat feel about that one conspiracy YouTuber Coop? Guilty pleasure for me, to be honest. He seems like a bit of an idiot, but I like the bit of it still. Yeah, I've watched a bit of this guy's stuff. They're so long. I say they're long. My videos are like extremely long. But look at this. Where's the missing Epstein girl? I just did a video on that on the Extra Chill Goblin page. But Nadia Marchenko. Is this guy stealing my stuff? I did watch this, A Definitive Guide to Pizza and Gates. It's like I myself have been working on a Pizzagate video for fucking 8 months now. I'm so close to being done, guys. It's going to be up on the Patreon any day now. Like seriously, very soon. But like I've been sort of like obsessing over it. I spent way too long researching it, way too long just kind of poring over it, filming it, editing it, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, this guy's putting out one on Pizzagate too. And I watched it and I thought it was really not good. I thought it was really poorly put together, poorly researched, not a good source of information. I wasn't into it, but yeah, I didn't see Pizzagate Part 2. Maybe you redeemed it with that one. I wouldn't mind watching, why don't we watch the Nadia Marchenko one? Because we've been talking about this lately. We've been talking about Nadia. You can watch the clip of my stream on it on this channel if you want. I didn't even know this was up, but this is a topic that I recently I did a little bit of a deep dive, a little bit of a shallow dip your toe in the water kind of deep dive. And this is a video essay, a documentary, whatever. Well, let's call it a video essay. Let's not call it a documentary. Just to situate you in the timeline. So Virginia Giuffre trafficked by Epstein when she was like 16 until she was like, what, 18 or something like that, 19. And this was starting in, I think, 2000. Fuck, I might have the timeline off. But right before she escaped to Thailand, she trained Nadia Marchenko. Nadia Marchenko did her first massage with Virginia in the room. Trained her how to give Epstein a massage. Let's find out. Where is the missing Epstein girl? By Coop. Scooper of Coop.
Something almost no one has been talking about is who was actually the one going and getting these girls and boys. And I think I found one of the most likely answers to that.
First of all, right off the bat, I'm just going to interrupt. Girls and boys? What the fuck are you talking about? They're with Epstein? Or do you mean or is he talking about like Pizzagate or something like that? Girls and boys? Like Epstein was just girls.
Question. Of the 4 Epstein women, there is one that stands out above and beyond to me at this moment, and that is Nadia Marchenko. Most aren't going to recognize that name. I didn't at first either, because suspiciously, in my over 2 hours of Epstein content, not a single time in any of my research did her name or image pop up organically.
I will say that's odd. Definitely she's in the fucking non-disclosure agreement. She gets mentioned all the time. She's big.
And yet she is a through line throughout this entire story. Her photo is splattered across a bunch of random images tied to the Epstein case, and much like Epstein's personal history, initially she can be somewhat difficult to pin down. She has 3 main names as well as a bunch of nicknames, but she's most commonly known as Nadia Marchenko or Nadia Marcenkova. If you were to look up that name right now, you'd be met with countless headlines, all repeating essentially the same thing. You'll be notified that she's a pilot or a former Epstein slave, maybe both, or one of the chief recruiters for little boys and girls. It's kind of a mixed bag of what you'll get told. But strangely, she's not one of the things above, she's all of the above. In theory, that
agreed.
is. We don't know much about her life history, but we do know that she was born in Slovakia in 1986.
Yeah, I've seen people say there are boys involved. I've seen people say like there were black girls and stuff. And like, no, it's all white girls. I mean, there's a couple of black girls, to be fair, but like people try to tie it to like the Clintons work in Haiti and stuff like that. No, Epstein was like extremely racist, like extremely so. And no, there were no boys that we know of.
1946, a country that has gone by over half a dozen different names since the beginning of the last century, but there is a chance this is merely a cover story, because we aren't even sure how old Nadia is, if we're being honest, and Epstein tells a different story about how Nadia came to be in his entourage. One of Epstein's many victims tells us that while being given the Epstein treatment, he stated that
Yep, that's true with DM Collins, Eastern European girls.
he purchased Nadia Marchenko from her father to be his Yugoslavian slave. That's right, purchased from old Daddy-O. Now that's kind of a hard thing to pin down exactly who said this. I've seen several sources of that information, and it's just been repeated by so many others over time that by proxy of how many people have said it, it's become somewhat of a fact. Although we aren't totally certain that's actually how Epstein came to have Nadia. But the other main reason people think this is because Nadia herself has the reputation of being a victim. And that would be because she stated she was, or more so her legal team when the Epstein case began heating up, stated that she was. And so far, based on how little we actually know about her, I think it's fair to doubt whether or not she's a victim, and as we continue, that's going to become even more questionable. However, let's say she was a victim. It definitely didn't last very long, because she clearly moved from victim to victimizer very quickly, so quickly you think this was a 300-meter dash. In the early 2000s, we have reports from young girls that Nadia was at Epstein's properties, forcing them to engage in disgusting acts with Epstein. Despite having been purchased in 2001 by Jeffrey, therefore, only 2 and change years after she became his quote-unquote slave, she was already deep into violently abusing kids, which is a little too suspicious for my taste. We also have it on good authority, based on victim testimonies, that Nadia was raping these children herself. And one specific testimony disgustingly describes how a 16-year-old was forced to perform sexual acts with Nadia to, quote, completion, at which point Epstein began raping her.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that. And I mean, to be fair, Virginia even says in her book that she witnessed one like extremely powerful man and Epstein having sexual contact. But I do not believe there's any evidence that Epstein had male masseurs, whatever you call them,
violently holding her face down as she screamed for help and begged for it to stop. Eventually, he did stop, said sorry, and bought her a car to use. And this girl had come to Epstein's Palm Beach property after being lured to the home under the pretense of giving massages, which, come on people, let's raise our daughters better than falling for that one. And this report about what Nadia was up to came to light in 2004, 2005, and other victim testimonies report them being abused by Nadia in 2005, meaning at most Nadia was a late-stage teenager when this was all happening. And we are also aware that the flight manifests...
Peter Thiel, Peter Mandelson, yeah, Mandelson definitely. I mean, Kevin Spacey as well, but I don't know. I don't think so, but I guess I suppose it's possible. Galen did say that they had one male yoga instructor named Tito.
Manifest that we've been given, going all the way back to 03, note Nadia as both a passenger and crew. That's what the NM means, which...
Yeah, Awo. I get a lot of I get a weird, certain lines in Coop stuff. I get a weird vibe off of. That is some victim blamey stuff there. Definitely, especially Teal was there for access rather than the access to young girls. Or boys in his case. He was looking for access to British connections or people around the world that Epstein could connect them to.
She wouldn't be getting listed as if she were a child slave. If or how she went from slave to enslaver is up to you, but this Nadia history lesson is going to make progressively less sense as we continue from here on out. We are aware that as early as the first softball investigation and inquiry done by the Palm Beach Police Department in 2008, that Nadia appeared to be living at Epstein's Palm Beach home, treating it like her own. She showed up on hidden cameras that were later seized, appears in dozens of victim and helper testimonies, and was even ordering packages from Armani Exchange to the house. And yet Nadia was never arrested and never interrogated. The police did ask her some questions, and she has a deposition on record. However, she was never charged with a single thing, despite a countless and growing number of little girls reporting her as having helped Epstein acquire and them, and that Nadia herself had them, including violently with objects, according to one little girl's testimony. And with that in mind, it seems like Epstein and Nadia deserve adjoining zappy chairs, but no. In fact, for no apparent reason, Nadia not only didn't get charged, the serial rapist and trafficker also got immunity from all past, present, and future charges when Epstein got his joke sentence in 2008. The one where Alex Acosta, in charge of prosecuting Epstein, gave him a sweetheart deal and stated that he, as the Attorney General, one of the highest positions in the land, was told to back off because Epstein was, quote, intelligence, which Acosta, like a good little spook, did, and now 6 years later...
And I will just point out, we don't know that happened. That is what Vicky Ward, not the most reliable person, heard from an unnamed source who is probably Steve Bannon, probably the most unreliable person. But in any case, it could be true. I mean, I don't know. I think it's maybe true.
In a new
I just like the way he says it. He's like, oh, he said this. Apparently not. Or apparently we don't know.
Of documents, we find that Alex Acosta is denying having ever said that, despite everyone and their mom reporting otherwise. Just making sure we're all on the same page, because Nadia also got this splendid deal, and the immunity came without even giving a single bit of valuable information, swearing to testify, or leaving her old life as a diddyist behind. In fact, this alleged slave was so loyal to
as a diddyist, he says? Diddyist?
Epstein that she pled the fifth anywhere from 42 to 90 separate times when being deposed. We would know for certain if we actually possessed the full deposition, and that document which contains the deposition is interesting because despite being over 2,000 pages long, including eyewitness testimonies, the depositions of Ghislaine and other people who were related to the incident, and obviously Nadia, it would appear that when you get to Nadia's section, you notice that a lot of chunks are missing, and it doesn't seem like we actually get the full thing, which that can't be right, just some food for thought. But it is because of that I'm not really able to tell you exactly how many times she pled the fifth. We just know that it was a lot, and for basically every question except for what's your name. And as an aside, if there are any lawyers watching this video right now, I'd be curious and be grateful if you could comment below if it's even possible for a foreigner to plead the fifth. Who knows? Before I get
yeah, very bi, but I think for most men, it's not gay in a threesome if your dingles touch, as long as you don't make eye contact at all with the other guy, which proves you're not in love. Yeah, I've heard that, and also the balls can't touch. That's important too. Eye contact, no ball contact. You're good.
Get off track though, let's veer back on course. A further reason to question just who Nadia is and how she got to Epstein is that any
idea who the man Virginia says she saw Epstein have sexual contact with? No, I don't know, but I would guess Les Wexner. I know. That would be my guess. I think Les Wexner, I think that Epstein was probably not bi, but he was like a kind of a psychopath and a manipulator, and used his, and also just like kind of maybe just didn't really give a fuck about like sexual contact or something, or I don't know. Maybe he was a victim of sexual abuse himself as a kid. A lot of people speculated that, including Virginia in her book. She says that she saw kind of signs of it, but nothing concrete. But yeah, I do wonder if that was something that he did when he was a kid, or not when he was not a kid, but when he was coming up and when he acquired Les Wexner as his only known billionaire client at the time. Yeah, I do think that there's some merit to those ideas that they were in somewhat of a relationship.
Despite having this immunity, she not only pled the fifth all those times in her deposition, but she also has yet to give a single name, location, address, or even the tiniest bit of information. Even
slapping, it didn't happen. That's awesome. I love that. If the balls ain't slapping, it didn't happen.
Years after being given immunity about what was going on, and who the perpetrators are, or who the girls are, how they got them, what went on, where the lists are, or where and how the bodies were disposed of. That's another level of evil, as she is probably one of only a handful of people outside of Epstein himself who knows each person on the list and could help us all out a lot in uncovering who was involved. But she didn't. Nadia remained loyal to Epstein, visiting him over 70 times, which is a minimum of once a week, while Epstein was supposedly serving a prison sentence, but was actually just hanging out in his custom-made wing of the Palm Beach Police Department back in 2008. And 70 times is more than Epstein's other top conspirators combined and multiplied visited him. Nadia was then with Epstein all the way until what was likely his staged death in the Manhattan Metro Correctional Facility, visiting him and calling him there and being among his final phone calls. After so many of his former friends had abandoned him and left him to his own devices in 2019, Nadia stuck by his side. That's the kind of loyalty one would expect to see from a band of soldiers lost in the jungles of Vietnam in the 1970s. Not what you'd expect for a girl who was brutally abused for a decade and had been given immunity from all crimes she was accused of.
I do think that there's like a pretty big misunderstanding of like abuse, like how that fucks up your brain, and how like I've seen people be like with the Virginia wearing the same clothes to when she was assaulted by Andrew, and then months later when she went to the Naomi Campbell party. I mean, like most women, if they get assaulted, they throw away the clothes they were wearing why would she wear the exact same outfit again? It's suspicious. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking, dude? This is not some, first of all, would never really be the case. But also, these are not people who experienced like one assault and then recovered from it immediately. These are people who are like trapped in a situation with their abuser over years. It becomes part of their everyday life, being abused, being trafficked, whatever. Like, you can't be like, oh, it's a little bit weird that this sort of loyalty that she's showing is like, what were they, like fucking band of brothers? Were they the characters from the movie Tropic Thunder? Why did they like each other so? And it's just like, I mean, like I'm not saying Nadia Marchenko's, a good person or like we should forgive her for if she assaulted girls, but that is actually how abuse works, though. Like the way that you're saying it doesn't.
Even stranger, despite all this time by Epstein's side, supporting and continuing to facilitate him, Nadia managed to remain mostly out of the limelight. And like most people, myself included, as discussed, they likely didn't even know this chick's name until 2024, early January to be more precise, when a host of Epstein and co-related documents were released. Obviously, Nadia's name was...
Any evidence of her having contact with Epstein in 2019? I don't believe so, but when Ghislaine was on the run, and there's no evidence that they met up, but they were in the same area. They're staying in the same area. They're staying in where Ghislaine was like found, where she was eventually like discovered, was in the same, I don't know, town or at least state as Nadia Marchenko was. I can't remember the details on that one, but yeah.
Was in there innumerable times and implicated her in the sorts of crimes that an electric chair seems far too kind for. This is all to suggest that we really don't know who this woman was, and the record seems very bizarre, to the point that I am unwilling to call her a victim because of the things she has done to little boys and girls. But despite her having not...
Little boys again? What am I missing here? What is this talking about little boys?
Been a victim previously in my mind, that does not preclude her from being one now, as since shortly after some of the Epstein documents dropped in January of 2024, Nadia Marchenko went missing. No one has seen or heard from her in almost 2 years as of writing this document, since January of 2024. Her social media is inactive. Her neighbors report no one being home at any of her addresses, ones which I might add is presumed Epstein paid for, and as far as we are aware, not even friends or family have heard from her, including the father who, according to Epstein, he bought Nadia from. It would seem that really and genuinely, no one knows where Nadia is. And this is where our story is going to take a turn. To have one of your key witnesses to an international child trafficking ring just disappear, after documents are released that would implicate her and maybe even force her to give more information about Epstein. To our knowledge, Nadia has no reason to run herself. Most didn't know who she was, few were where to find her, and even if a judge did want to subpoena her, she's been wrongfully granted immunity. And yet, despite such a prominent figure going missing, related to a massive criminal enterprise, there's been no search, no questioning, and no investigation. Indeed, it would appear that the mainstream slot media decided to go no further than to say that Nadia is missing, and then let the story rest. Which makes me suspect that she is either wherever Epstein and friends are today, or she was silenced as she knew too much. And I'm beginning to wager more and more that it's the second. If we review Nadia's bizarre timeline thus far, a number of red flags drop on the field, but the biggest one is, how can one purchase a child from someone's family? That's despicable. To sell your child, are you insane? What is wrong with you? But there's really no other path to take here, because the alleged father, who I'll pick bones with shortly, claims that it's untrue. However, one must also ask in the same breath, what other possibility is there for your 15-year-old little girl to go missing or to disappear, and you file no reports? One can realistically only assume he was involved. And if the father was involved, then for none of the family or friends...
There are other things that you could assume. I mean,
try and find her is beyond strange. And yet that seems to be what the prevailing narrative is suggesting as relates to the father and how Nadia ended up with Epstein. He didn't sell her, don't worry. Nadia just somehow ended up in Epstein's hands. Literally. But I'm not really one to bite that crap narrative, so I decided to see what else we could find out on the father, and maybe that would give us some clues, since Nadia herself is pretty much a blank space in this story. And considering I'm not Slovakian, I am limited to what I can do here and find online. However, I noticed some discrepancies even despite the language barriers, and what I came to, as we'll discuss, is that this supposed father seems like a figment. His name is Peter Marcinko and is an architect in Prestov, Slovakia, or so we are told, because his entire online identity seems kind of contrived. If we look at his business contact address, following it to Google Earth leads us to a random Slovakian art gallery. He supposedly owns it, but it's also listed as the office for his architecture business, which just doesn't really make sense in my mind. And so I tried to find out more, only to notice there are very few photos of the man, which tends to be a sign that we're onto something, especially when his Facebook has hundreds, maybe even 1,000+ photos of buildings, many of which look like stock images, but only a handful of photos of him. The work history suggests that someone named Peter Marcinko has done some building and has completed some buildings, but I can't really tell for sure because everything is in Slovakian. So any Slav viewers, I would be grateful to know what you find. There are also evidently no pictures of Peter with Nadia on his Facebook, despite there being hundreds of photos, and despite pictures of this Peter fellow's son and his grandchildren being on his Facebook profile. Moreover, some people online claim to have found photos of Nadia and her dad together on his Facebook, but these shots that I've seen came from a distance, and it's somewhat hard to tell if it's actually Nadia or not. Moreover, I've combed through all the photos on Peter's Facebook twice and found none that match the ones reported to be Nadia, so either that's a...
It's interesting. In Virginia's book, she said that she's heard from a very reliable source, she doesn't specify who, that her father, who, recall, was the first man who sexually assaulted her, he received money from Epstein to sort of like let her go. but she was never able to totally prove that. And she doesn't even mention who it was that told her this, but she says it was a very reliable source. So I don't know. Could be the same thing. I mean, I don't know. It's yeah. I don't think we know. I don't think that we can know.
A lie, or they've since been taken down, which is kind of strange either way. However, what got me most though were two things. One, there's an article published that claimed the father's address was X. I'm obviously not going to give it, and it had a picture of the property, or at least it supposedly did. But when one pulls up the picture of the property, it's not of anything but a street and some random Slovakian warning sign to drivers. So not really.
No, Finland. She doesn't mention Katie Johnson much.
Evidence that he actually lives there, mostly because there isn't a there. And reason number two, all the profiles online for Nadia's dad use the name Peter Marcinko, which may not seem weird at first, but on a second glance, we have to remember that that's not Nadia's real name. Her actual name is Nadia Marcinkova, so why then is her father listed under the fake name that Nadia took on after she was allegedly sold to Epstein? That doesn't really compute there, matey. And if we choose to believe that Nadia simply vanished into the ether, which I don't know what other option there is here, based
I think, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that might be maybe that is a Slovakian thing, but like his name is Marchenko. Like he didn't change his name too. His name has always been Marchenko. I don't know. Is that like what? Let's look it up. Okay, let's say Slovak names ending in ko. Feminine. Oh, okay. Va indicate a feminine form of a surname or given name. The male surname Krejci, meaning Taylor, becomes Krejkova for females. So that's why. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. So her dad's name was always Marchenko, and her name is Marchenkova because she's a girl. Mystery solved. All right. Well, there you have it.
Took on after she was allegedly sold to Epstein. That doesn't really compute there, matey. And if we choose to believe that Nadia simply vanished into the ether, which I don't know what other option there is here, based on the dad saying that he didn't sell her to Epstein, then Peter, while supposedly not knowing where his daughter was, that being with Epstein, changed his name to match his missing daughter's new name that she had taken on while on the other side of the earth, where he supposedly didn't know where she was. Yeah, okay. Clearly that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Also worth note, Pete likes his creepy art just like Epstein, including that of nude individuals wearing superhero costumes. You know, superheroes, the things for kids, and we're talking about Epstein, aren't we? Not a weird quinky dink at all. My overall conclusions here, though, is that it seems like someone wants us to find this account.
So much fucking conservative conspiracy theory shit is just like, they don't like art. They don't like art, and they're like, yeah, bro, did you really have to censor these? Did you? Like, I see the part you didn't censor, and it looks pretty abstract. I think YouTube would have been okay to depict whatever it is that you're upset about here.
And then not dive any deeper. And there is enough here truly to make the argument either way that this is her dad, and for the other side to say, no, this can't be her dad. And on that note, washing that all aside for the time being, I really just wanted to know what was going on and if this was the right guy we were looking at. So I decided to message Papa Pete and discuss the sale of his child Nadia, as is popularly reported, although he denies it, and see if there's anything I could learn. I really just want to know that guy's side of the story, to be fair. He, however, did not respond. So I tried then messaging his son. Now his son is linked, as I briefly mentioned, on Peter's profile, and so I thought, you know what, it doesn't hurt to try. I mean, after all, Nadia would be this man's sister. And so I messaged him, a very kind, not too long message, just going, hey man, suspicious of all the stories going on around Nadia and your dad selling her. Do you have any information you can give me? Because I don't think he's going to respond to me. And I kid you not, within 24 hours, I go back to see if he's responded to the message, and suddenly Peter's son's account is now inaccessible. So he either privated it, blocked me, or deleted his Facebook. I don't know. But his son's account doesn't show up on Peter's Facebook as a friend anymore. So I don't know what happened there. But once again, if you guys somehow watch this, Peter and your son, please reach out to me. I want to know more. And I'll make sure to keep you guys watching this updated on if anything else happens as relates to this family, because we deserve to know more information at this point, considering Nadia is gone. But until then, I am going to have to assume and wager that Peter is to some regard a facade, because your daughter doesn't just disappear. Someone knows where she is, and I wager he knew exactly what he was doing, but consider that all speculation. And so now if the father isn't genuine and Nadia has been misattributed to him or was an asset of some kind, that would explain how Nadia could go missing without family coming after her, as it would seem no family ever came after her. Although I find the use of the term missing to be a little bit silly in this context, as we shall come to see, since Nadia was very much not missing. We know her name and person was popping up on American soil in the early 2000s, as she did some modeling for major brands while not dating children. She was also making appearances on magazine covers prior to and post starting to rape kids, so she was a pretty well-known figure. Personally,
really, I didn't actually know that. She says she was a model, but I was never able to find any of her modeling shit. So that's okay, cool. Good job, Coop.
Though what I know her best from is her time as a pilot for Epstein, as Nadia will later go on to say that when she grew tired of modeling, she was ready for a longer runway. And if I were a betting man, I would wager 50-1 odds that whole pilot thing is a cover story, and there's only one kind of cockpit she knows how to operate. That one was a thinker. Just make sure you're paying attention, because here's where things get really bizarre if they weren't already. In her late teens and early 20s, we have photos of Nadia dressed up as a pilot taking clearly...
That guy, Larry Vishnovsky, one of Epstein's pilots, this is on the left there, so this is the Lolita Express. His nickname was Big Dog. Big Dog Vishnovsky.
Ready. In her late teens and early 20s, we have photos of Nadia dressed up as a pilot taking clearly staged glam shots outside of Epstein's plane, on Epstein's plane, and even in the cockpit, which seems like the kind of stuff a very unqualified young girl would do after becoming a private-file pilot on a $40 million private jet. After all, Wikipedia does call her a pilot, so it must be true. But if we look at Wikipedia a little bit closer, we're going to notice the beginning of an odd rabbit hole. Wikipedia references Nadia as being an FAA-certified pilot, rated for single and multi-engine planes, and that's okay, I suppose, but unsurprisingly, the source of that information is bogus, because it's either Nadia directly or Nadia via interviews. But I'm generous, so let's say it's true, and let's assume that Nadia is FAA certified. Just because she's certified doesn't mean she can actually fly a plane. Let's be realistic, Epstein clearly can get whatever he wants. Just ask Prince Andrew or any of the last 5 presidents. So a pilot certification would be child's play. Perhaps that's a bad choice of words though. But it is important because it created an extremely effective cover for Nadia, which we'll get into more, for which she is still benefiting from, because looking up her name, she is practically always referred to as a pilot foremost. And so I went to the FAA database and looked Nadia up, and lo and behold, she does actually possess certifications for several different ratings on planes. But that's not what really interested me. On her FAA cert page, it now says that she's a second-class pilot, and this is what happens when you miss a medical review exam. You go from first class, which she originally was, to second class, and then to third, the difference being what you are quote-unquote allowed to fly. Well, Nadia appears to have downgraded classes from first to second, which almost makes sense initially, but not really, because if she did her last exam sometime in 2023, before she went missing, then she would be a third-class pilot at this point in time. But she isn't, she's still a second class. And that's because the FAA database has Nadia's most recent medical exam as having been in August of 2024, 7 months after she went missing. So where then is Nadia, where she's still fine taking medical exams to fly, and how has she managed to go completely under the radar, pun intended?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
It seems a bit odd to me, but at the very least, we know that Nadia has been missing now since August then, rather than January as originally noted. But this also means that unless Nadia wants to get downgraded again, she should already have shown up at an exam site, but she hasn't. Therefore, her certification should soon either drop to third class, or we're going to see them renewed in sometime in this year, which would be a pretty clear signal that she...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this guy's sort of overestimating how much power you have as like a random guy on the internet to track someone down. Like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to hide. It's very hard to be sitting in your fucking mom's basement and being like, I'm going to find Nadia Marchenko. I'm going to look her up. I'm going to fucking track her down. Oh, she's missing. It's just like, I mean, probably not. Like, she's probably out there. Your family does probably know where she is. Fucking FBI probably knows where she is. But you don't know where she is because you're just a fucking YouTuber, Yeah, exactly. Disappearing from public view. Exactly.
She is no longer with us if she doesn't, or she's not maintaining the pilot facade anymore, or on the other hand, that she is still alive somewhere in hiding, perhaps with Epstein and company. And as we've discussed for the previous reasons, this pilot facade is extremely important for Nadia, but it's far more so for the following reasons, because Nadia has an interesting online history. As in the early 2010s, Nadia was best known by her alias Gulfstream Girl, generating a following as a pilot of a Gulfstream jet. I know, very clever. And obviously we know that Gulfstream belonged to Epstein. The name Gulfstream Girl continued in use until 2013, when Gulfstream sued Nadia for copyright infringement and profiting off of their trademarked name. The two parties settled outside of court, and Nadia transitioned to the name Global Girl. And around that same time, Nadia founded a company named Ovuloop, which is externally at least how most presume that she made her money. Ostensibly, Ovuloop is a hodgepodge of weird excuses phrased as a business. They sell you pre-existing marketing plans, help you design your own marketing plans, help plan events, tailor ads for your audience, chartered planes, set up booths for flight events, and sell flight lessons 59% off. And all the marketing, mind you, is for aviators and aviation companies only. See what I mean? A little weird. But even stranger is that Ovuloop positions itself via its advertisements in a very disturbing way, to say the least. In 2012, there was a promo reel depicting their stewardesses wearing Ovuloop uniforms. These uniforms were very unique, is one way to put it, and seemed like costumes in all honesty. Like something a hooker would be wearing for 15 seconds while pretending to be a stewardess. What is stranger though is it doesn't take a decade of detective work to notice that it would appear that Ovuloop is not selling cheap flight lessons, but see for yourself what I mean, because if a picture...
Yeah, Coop's done a few videos on Epstein still being alive. I did a few videos about Epstein's death on this channel, Extra Chill Goblin, and I got a bunch of comments every time being like, you gotta watch Coop's thing, he explains it, Epstein's still alive, he just escaped. Which is like, oh, wow. That's why this guy's like a little pilled. He's a little bit too pilled for me.
Is worth 1,000 words. These videos are each a book's worth.
Welcome to your collective buying website for anything aviation. We offer deals on flight lessons, pilot accessories, fuel, FBO services, charter flights, and even small aircraft. Our deals are usually 50 to 90% off. That means whether you want to learn to fly, charter an airplane, or to see more girls like me, Loop can help. You can even vote for your favorite deal attendant and win special prizes. Our membership is completely free. Our deals are unbeatable. And there's no catch. So what are you waiting for, Captain? Subscribe to our newsletter and get in the loop.
Hi, welcome to Cole's Flight School on Loop.com. My name is Ashley and I'm your deal attendant. Anyone who claims that humans were not meant to fly never experienced the thrill of their own successful landing. If you've been bitten by the flying bug and you want to add multi-engine to your pretty green license, this is your opportunity to do it at 50% off. You don't see that very often. Today's deal includes all the necessary ground school and 15 hours of multi-engine flight training. Get ready to fly big boy airplanes. To purchase this deal, you must hold at least a private pilot license and a current medical certificate. Don't miss out and click on that big blue button. You know you want to.
All right, now that we've all lost a bit more confidence in the goodness of man, I think two things are obvious. This is a weirder, grosser, pseudo reference to disturbed sexuality than the bottom of this printing of the 118th page of F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Beautiful and Damned. What I'm trying to say, though, is these girls are, to my observation and many others, clearly the item for which is being sold, and I might add, perhaps are even unknowing of that fact at the point of recording.
I wouldn't say clearly the item, but I agree that's probably the case, yeah.
Rather than the deal on flight lessons being offered at face value. The reasons should be obvious. I mean, we all have eyes and ears, but I'll have...
No, they weren't offering flight lessons. They were the deal attendants, and their thing was, if you are a person in the aviation industry and you want to sell fucking fuel or a plane, or if you want to sell flight lessons, they will do a commercial for you that would appear on the Everloop website. And that was the whole thing that they brought to the table. Oh, this is what makes us different than anyone else you might do this through, is we have models. We have real models. But then also they had a weekly competition, or they claims to have a weekly competition where you could vote for your favorite deal attendant. And then they would, whoever won, if you vote, you enter the thing, and then whoever won gets to meet one of them on an online call. But they weren't, no, those commercials were all just like fake. Like they weren't trying to sell you flight lessons. That isn't what they were doing. That's just a misunderstanding of what was going on the thing. Oh, 100% they are suspicious. Yeah, I agree. Creepy rich guy escort service stuff.
Highlight a few. The girl's demeanor, the inflection, the language, statements like you get more attractive the more times you fly, or press the button you know you want to, or big boy, or suggesting that you can just spend time with the flight attendants if you want, or just simply watch them. I mean, the list does go on from there. And obviously, no one is selling flight lessons for 50 to 90% off, because how are you making money? A sort of important aspect to business, I might add.
But that isn't what they were doing. Again, the guy obviously didn't read the FAQs on the Everloop website. They have an entire page that's like, what the fuck are these deal attendants? Why are these girls so weird? And they're like, oh, those off-putting clips? Well, actually, they're what make us better than our competition.
But the questions and obvious implications become deeper, darker, and more disturbing when we begin to ask where these may have been recorded. We know very little from the video itself. Obviously, it doesn't give us much, but I will do my best. First off, the amount of echo in the room
And there is no catch.
suggests it's a larger room, which is fairly to completely barren of furniture, and a fan blowing in the background makes me think it's somewhere warmer. It could be anywhere, but knowing this business, Avi loops right back to Epstein. I would suggest one of his islands, or perhaps Zorro ran.
What the fuck? That is fucking hilarious. What a reach. And Everloop started in 2011 after Marchenko was kind of out of Epstein's life. You'd think it was recorded. Oh, you can tell from the echo it was in a large room, and there's a fan in the background, which makes me think it must be fucking on Epstein's island. Bro, you cannot make that guess. You cannot guess that. That is not good journalism.
Itself, the one we discussed so long ago, it seems like. But that is speculation, admittedly, because there's something more important that we can distinguish.
Sure.
I'm going to play a few segments of the videos for you again, and I want you to listen really carefully to the background audio.
To your pretty green license, this is your opportunity to do it at 50% off. To your pretty green license.
You heard that, right? A woman, let's be honest here, presumably a young girl in the background moaning, as advertisements are being recorded.
You think that sounds like?
You heard that, right? The background audio.
To your pretty green license, this is your opportunity to do it at 50%.
That could be a cat or a baby or fucking somebody stepped on a rubber chicken. I do not hear a young woman moaning sexually.
The background audio.
To your pretty green license, This is your opportunity.
No, I don't hear that. The dog with a squeak toy. I mean, maybe it could be, but then so you think this was on Epstein Island, and like while they were recording this, there was a girl being assaulted in the next room, and they were just like, no, we don't need to do another take. No, we don't need to wait. Let's just use it. Let's just roll with it. No, yeah, it's good. One take. That's all we need. Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. You sure? What about that? No, it's fine.
To do it at 50% off to your Pretty Green license.
You heard that right. A woman, let's be honest here, presumably a young girl in the background moaning, as advertisements are being recorded that ostensibly are selling flight-related products, but are implying something much more sordid beneath the surface. And if this isn't the perverted Epstein and co crap that we know and have become familiar with, then I don't know what is, because how much more obvious can they be? Well,
this is a perfect example of like the type of conspiracy research that I think is like really bad and also like all over the place, where it's like this guy obviously has a preconceived goal that he's trying to get to through his research, and he's trying to be like, okay, no, this was like, not only is this a sex trafficking thing, which I actually like, I sort of agree with. Like, I mean, at least I would guess that he's right about that. But he's like, it was also, she was still working with Epstein secretly, and it was definitely done on fucking Epstein's Island or a New Mexico ranch, and it was at the same time where there was actually abuse going on, and it's just like, bro, what? No, man. Look, listen to this sound. It's like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, like everything's so obvious. He's like, clearly, this is what this means. Like, no, man, that's actually like quite a conclusion you have jumped to. You like that is actually, your evidence does not support that claim. He's like, obviously, you can clearly see it. It's like, I don't know about that.
And have become familiar with, then I don't know what is, because how much more obvious can they be?
Oh yeah, okay.
Well, except for that, this isn't the only video with such noises, so we can presume it's not an accident or a one-off, which
Wait, you don't think it's an accident? Also, what does it say? This is a secret message. Comment one-off if you're reading this. Confuse everyone. Okay, all right. Okay, 2 off. That ought to throw them off. All right, here we go.
Really something you can have a one-off of, but besides the point, take a listen to this one.
That means whether you want to learn to fly, charter an airplane, or to
Wait, I'm going to pause there for a second. I'm assuming that the one we already heard is by far the best one. The one that most sounds like a young girl having sex. This one is going to sound worse and not be as convincing. All right. That's my prediction. All right, let's check it.
see more girls like me. I can help.
Oh, that sounded like a
More
cat.
girls like me. Luke can help.
That's a cat.
In this video, you can hear
That's 100% a cat.
Help. More girls like me. Luke.
Bro, have you ever had sex before? Coop? That's not a sex noise. That's a cat noise. Are you having sex with cats? Is this some sort of a furry version of Jeffrey Epstein? Coop?
Luke can help.
In this video, you can hear what appears to be a dude moaning. This makes it further clear that the girls are what are for sale, and these girls we see, I presume, are just merely a few of a wide selection for purchase.
Oh, he thinks that's a dude moaning. I thought it was for sure a cat. Hang on.
Help. More girls like me. Luke can
Oh, that's a man's noise. No, it's not.
Luke
No, it isn't.
can help. More girls like me.
No, come on, man. That's not it. You're meowing up the wrong tree here.
Luke can help.
In this video, you can hear what appears to be a dude moaning. This makes it further clear that the girls are what are for sale, and these girls we see, I presume, are just merely
Like this is it's annoying because like this is actually a pretty crazy thing that he's talking about, like these videos and this website and like Nadia Marchenko. Like this is all very insane. But like these sort of like Pizzagate guys, they can't help themselves. They always got to find more shit. It's always got to be more insane than we thought, right? It's very not like you are looking at something that is genuinely like worthy of commentary. It is remarkable. It should be remarked upon. But you're you're then his fucking brain dead, like fucking pilled, like Pizzagate brain kicks in and he's like, oh, there's a pedophile conspiracy? Okay, what we got to do is look for the secret messages and the code and like we need to play, listen to this, oh, we got to go into this and let's play it backwards. There's a secret message. Oh, Nadia Marchenkova backwards is Crowdler Crew. Oknikramadan. That almost sounds like I worship Satan. It's like You don't need to do all that. It's already an interesting thing. Anyway.
Merely a few of a wide
I was
selection
wondering how he made a 50-minute video about Nadia Marchenko.
for purchase. Also worth noting that these girls are incredibly skinny, don't look super healthy, and are clearly reading from a script. All things that make me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're reading from a script. That wasn't the weird part. You're upset that the only thing that you trust is a full improv? Like they're not allowed to write things down before they say them? I don't understand. And worst of all, they're clearly reading from a script.
Really skinny, don't look super
They're skinny.
healthy,
They don't
and
look
are
healthy.
clearly reading from a script. All things that make me very uncomfortable watching these videos.
It makes me really uncomfortable watching someone read a script. Bro, you ever got to receive the call from a telemarketer, dude? Scripts are everywhere, man. Scripts are all around us. Scripts are hiding in plain sight, bro. You cannot escape them.
That to the fact that on the original Avi Loop website, there are archives showing you that you can win one-on-ones with what they call interviews with the girls. Yeah.
Oh, so he did look up the website. Okay, so he should know that that's not what...
That's not right at all.
That's not right at all. I mean, what? Winning an interview? Bro, okay.
How, though, it gets even creepier with what we notice as we continue. I cannot take full credit for this. Some others who have been down this rabbit hole as well noticed this, and there's also a commenter on the video who pointed it out. However, if you look very closely at the blonde girl, who appears taken aback for a moment after the moaning is heard, one may notice that she looks quite familiar. I hope not personally. If so, I am very sorry. But for those into researching mysteries online, she might.
Who? Wait, this is going to be something insane. Who do you guys think that he thinks that she looks like? Who do you guys think? Okay, I think that girl's name was Lindsay, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, it was Ashley. It was Ashley.
And that would be because this young woman looks a lot like an older Ashley Martinez, who went missing from the local Krug Park pool in St. Joseph, Missouri on
Does that look like her? I mean, I don't really know. I don't think so. No, it's not. But her name was Ashley.
July 6th of 2004. At the time, Ashley was 15 years old, and it is one of the strangest cases I've read about. That being said, I want you to warp back to the summer of 2004. I was 1 year old, just for frame of reference, and real quick, let's think on this situation. You are simply a spectator at the Krug Park local pool in the city of St. Joseph, Missouri. And that day, you see Ashley Martinez with her brother. You're vague family friends with them.
Okay, yeah, this is like more Pizzagate shit. It's like people who try to like loop Madeline McCann into Pizzagate. Yeah, okay.
So you recognize them and just give them a wave. And in between bouts of reading your...
No, it's sad because I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like he's genuinely trying to get to the bottom of it, but his instincts are just so warped and bad that like the way that he does research is just he's never going to get the truth that he's seeking. Yeah, I don't know. Not like, I don't want to be too condescending to the guy, but like, yeah, this is all stupid.
book and taking a dip in the pool to cool off, you notice that Ashley has borrowed a phone from her friend in an odd manner. You then overhear Ashley's friend ask who it was because she doesn't recognize the number that Ashley had dialed. You find that odd, but you're just overhearing, so you kind of blurt out and just keep reading your book. However, it doesn't take much longer than that because a car will pull up outside the park and you'll see Ashley briefly as she walks away from the pool all alone and proceeds to get into that distant car with an older man. You don't recognize the man, so for an instant you think about stopping this whole situation because something just seems very wrong to you, but you decide not to, thinking, hey, maybe it's a family friend. And that decision to not intervene and continue reading your book is one that haunts you every single day and sometimes keeps you up at night because Ashley has now been missing for over 20 years.
That is not her. Like, I don't know. All blonde white ladies kind of do look alike. No, I know blonde white ladies. My mom is a blonde white lady. I know what they look like. This is a different girl. Her name is Ashley though. That other girl's name was Ashley too, but this is not that girl. Their chin is totally different. Check the chin. Look at this girl's chin. Where's the other girl's chin? Now look at this girl's chin. Look at her. Her chin is like much bigger and like she's got kind of a square jaw, pointed chin down there. And then this Ashley. Okay. Wait, is that a face reveal? Is that Coop? Here. Now look at this girl's chin. Totally different. Rounded. She does have a pointy chin, to be fair, but it's not as long. It's not as big. You know? It's a different person.
Been missing for over 20 years, and that's the gist of her story. Some facts worth providing.
She's missing for 20 years. So she's missing in 2004 when she was 15. These videos are from 2011. So okay, we've been 21.
I promise there's a point to including Ashley's history. For our purposes, I want to note the following. Ashley was unfortunately not unfamiliar engaging in some semblance of relationship with older males. I don't want to...
Two white girls both named Ashley? There's no such thing as coincidence. Yeah, I know. This rundown of an actual missing persons case. I mean, this is like, yeah, this is fucked up. I'm like sort of reading this page a little bit. I don't know if you guys can even see it, but it's like depressing.
Thing beyond the fact that she did at the age of 12, while at a sleepover at a friend's house, sneak off and get into the waiting car of a 21-year-old outside. Ashley's mom would later on call to check in on her at the sleepover, only to find out what had happened. And then Ashley's mom went on to call the police, and they said they could only go and find her if her mother reported Ashley as missing, so she did. And the story gets even weirder in that Ashley reappeared 10 hours later, walking up to the front door of a friend's house of one of her brothers. And so now we have a bit of a theme here of older males taking advantage of this young girl. We also know that Ashley dreamed of becoming a model. And modeling is one of the common lures of traffickers, most prominently Epstein, using the likes of Jean-Luc Brunel, as well as many others. There's also this interesting bit of information.
Oh, fuck, I tuned out for a second. What is he, how did he link it back to Brunel?
And then Ashley's mom went on to call the police, and they said they could only go and find her if her mother reported Ashley as missing, so she did. And the story gets even weirder, and that Ashley reappeared 10 hours at the house of one of her brothers. And so now we have a bit of a theme here of order, and modeling is one of the common lures of traffickers, most prominently Epstein.
Oh, okay, so it's not connected. He's just like, she wanted to become a model. Oh, okay, no way. Then she definitely got kidnapped by Jean-Luc Brunel. Bro, no, man.
There's also this interesting bit of information, though, for our case that arises when we start doing some basic math. Going back to the Loop advertisements, the girl in this video, in my mind, and many others, cannot be older than 22 or 23. And she shares an extremely similar...
You should work at the fair and yell at people you see and guess their weight and age and shit. Look at, like, they're not the same person. Have you never seen a white girl? Look at it's like round face versus like long face. Look at the size of the chin, the gap from the lower lip to the bottom of the chin. The girl we see here has looks like a scar or something on her chin too. Completely different nose, she's got like a wide nose, she's got like a thin nose. These are obviously different people. Like, you have to be so pilled not to see that.
Similar facial structure and physique to Ashley, and would be the exact right age, as this was recorded in 2012. And so if Ashley went missing at the age of 15 in 04, add 8 years to that when this was recorded and uploaded, that would make Ashley 23. But man, no matter what, if this is Ashley or not, what brings a grown man to the edge...
I'm actually sort of impressed how long he spent on this. Like, the least compelling part of this case. And he went there from like the most compelling part, these videos. But it's like 10 minutes on like, look into these weird squeaks and meows during the videos. They're definitely on Epstein Island. And she sort of looks like another girl.
Of Tears is telling you the following, that out of all the names for all the women in all the countries on Earth...
Right, sorry I spoiled this. I could tell he was building up to it because he didn't say it yet. But yeah, turns out her name...
This one decides to introduce herself on the video as...
My name is Ashley, and I'm your jail attendant.
And it's not like Epstein was very secretive either.
I'm your jail attendant. She was definitely the most uncomfortable of all of the other girls.
It was pretty much an open secret what he did. And to bring it full circle, let's not forget whose company is being advertised for here. Nadia Marcinko, the model and child rapist who used her connections and time as a model and quote-unquote pilot to lure girls in. And so I dare say a lot of dots are beginning to connect here. So there were two things I wanted to do next. The first was to contact the police in St. Joseph, Missouri with these findings. Okay, I'm going to interrupt here and I'm going to say that I actually ended up getting a call back from the detective. Originally when I recorded this I hadn't. So I want to add that we actually had a really great conversation this morning as of the time I'm editing this. I'm not going to say his name, but he is the detective on this case, so if you look him up you will find him. He seems like a really genuine guy, very curious for what I found and about this video. So I sent it to him and he said was that, okay, this is interesting. They always like to follow up on leads. And he did admit, as we'll get on to later, the girl we can see here could very well be her later on. I mean, we don't really know exactly what she would look like, but they do share a lot of similarities. The fact they have the same name is really weird. And then I asked him for a comment on record, and he did give me one, and that's here for you guys now. What do you think of the video, and if it's her?
Yeah, I definitely think that there's some things that we need to look into. This is possibly, 8 years later, we're going to have to match up the facial features and see. But there's always that potential. We're always going to look into these leads when we get them.
Awesome. That's a great answer. Thank you. I'm going to interject as I'm editing that conversation. I also wanted to add that he said that
whoa, editing Coop meets editing Coop. Damn.
He's going to share these with Ashley's mom, which seemed like a pretty big deal. So I thought I would let you guys know that. All in all, we can't know for certain, but I have a special request.
Just wanted to interrupt the video to say, I may have given a mother who lost her child in 2004 false sense of hope. And isn't that the most important thing about being a conspiracy YouTuber? Anyway, shout out to Ashley's mom. Hope you're watching. Catch you on the flip side.
For you guys now. There's a lot of information out there online, and we only know these videos exist because people search for them. If you've made it this far and you have...
I'm beginning to connect a lot of the dots. Yeah. I always love when these like most insane like conspiracy YouTubers are like, and by the way, FBI, I'm not trying to kill myself. I'm very happy. I don't want to... And it's like, bro, they love that you're putting this out there. No one is mad about this. No one in the deep state is upset about you peddling misinformation here. Very cool. Whoa, you told the cop to look into it and he said he would? Wow, cool, man. Wow, you've really made a difference, dude. He's not just a YouTuber, man. He's an activist, dude. Cool, man. He's helping.
I'd be so grateful if we could crowdsource this thing and look up for any other videos on this, because we're fortunate that Ashley
That's really sweet that he thinks that he can help with this.
Has some birthmarks and some scarring and piercings that would make it very obvious whether or not it was her if we got another angle of this video, or if there were other Loop advertisements.
Another angle of this video? Bro, who was filming it? The cat? The little cat eye view angle on the floor?
That we're unaware of at this point in time. So if you guys can find anything, please let me know, and immediately send it to the email on screen for the detective I met with. And then also...
Bro, you just said you weren't going to say his name. Then you like fully dox him. Did he not say that? He said earlier, he's like, I'm not going to say his name on here, but he was the detective who looked into... And now they're like, if you want to contact him, here's his name, phone number, and email address. Yeah. I hear a fan in the background too. So that means that Coop is actually recording from Epstein's Island.
So send it to me and comment below.
Yeah, you can hear the fan and the echo in the room. I believe this is Zorro Ranch. There's only two places in the world that meet both those criteria. It's Zorro Ranch and Epstein's Island. And that's actually it could also be the Comet Ping Pong basement. Those are the only three places that actually fit that exact thing.
It's my email, so we can also keep getting this information out there. Because there's a very real possibility that at the very least, Ashley Martinez lived for longer than we might suspect. And there's a very real possibility she could still be alive, considering how big of a network we're talking about here.
Bro, how do you fucking say that? Like he must believe what he's saying. Otherwise, that is too ghoulish. Too ghoulish to imagine anyone actually saying this shit.
With Epstein. So... unexpected, that video was recorded 8 years after she went missing, and it has now been another 13 since that video was recorded. We can't know where Ashley is, but if she is out there, there's no audience that I believe is more capable of finding this than you guys. So please see what you can find, because we didn't know these videos existed until recently. I mean, then anything else could be out there, truly. I don't want to repeat myself, but once again, thank you for the detective for getting back to me. It gave me a little bit more faith in some feds. I want to thank you guys in advance for everything you're going to find. Any tips?
Yeah, maybe I do trust the government after all.
No matter how small or big, if you know anything, if you know somebody who knows something, please do not hesitate to reach out. This is the chance to really help someone and their family out. I think we should take advantage of that opportunity. Thank you so much, guys. Let's get back into it. So it's now at the point that I'm pretty confident saying I think that's actually Ashley in this video. Meaning,
this is crazy, guys. Okay, hang on. We're at 33 minutes. When did he start talking about the... Oh, wow. 26 minutes, he starts talking about the case of Ashley Martinez. But even before that... Okay, so from 24 minutes to 30... Was it 32?
Been arrested for the crime. And that just seems pretty outlandish to me. But I'm not making any accusations. Let me make that clear.
I do want to hear all of this insane shit.
I'm pretty confident saying I think that's actually Ashley in this video, meaning that in 2004 she didn't go missing but was abducted and has since been the victim of some of the...
She didn't go missing but was abducted. But that's still missing.
...most unimaginable acts ever on Earth, and then was probably brainwashed to some extent and became part of the operation, getting pimped out by very creepy videos pretending to be a stewardess. But it does go further.
Here's the thing. The way he's so confident that like Loop was not only a sex trafficking operation, or at least an attempted one, which is what I also think. He thinks it was an Epstein thing. But dude, Epstein was like way more careful than that. Epstein was not putting up videos of his girls doing like things. He was like, as Virginia said, he would traffic them to his well-connected friends, these billionaires and like respected like Harvard academics and shit. And it was not like an actual like, you know, pimp ring where you pay me money, you get to do this. There's much more to it than that. He thinks Epstein did all this, Epstein's like, you know what? I'd like to fucking diversify my assets here. What if we put this out there? What if we made it on the World Wide Web? What if I made it in a fucking aviation website and put it behind this weird fucking deal attendant facade? And it's just like, bro, no, man. This was definitely Nadia's thing. If Epstein did it, it would be a lot slicker than that. He was not putting out videos of that shit. Can you imagine? You imagine if Epstein did that? And these videos are still up. These videos are still on the YouTube page. They haven't been taken down. You can find them right now. If Epstein did that shit, they would be down. Epstein fucking pulled shit back. Like, we've tried desperately to claw as much information as we can from these like FBI raids and fucking witness testimony and shit. But Epstein did not leave clues lying about like this. It's so funny to be going with this, like, and this guy has made dozens of videos about it, dude, and he doesn't seem to really get it. Anyway, all right. Still talking about Ashley Martinez. Wow.
We are also aware that Ashley had bipolar disorder, so messing with her and breaking her mind wouldn't have been too difficult, as she's a little bit more...
What are you talking about, bro? Somebody has bipolar disorder or whatever it's called, manic depression. Oh, that means that they're easy to brainwash? Have you ever met somebody with that? Ever met somebody with that? Yeah, I mean, oh God.
More malleable. And even darker, we know what car Ashley got into that day and who owns it, and yet nobody has been arrested for the crime. And that just seems pretty outlandish to me. But I'm not making any accusations, let me make that clear. It is worth noting though that whoever was driving that car could easily have just been a transport for Epstein, and then she was flown wherever on Earth on whichever one.
Oh, a car. Notably, Epstein had a car.
One of his planes that he wanted her to go. And speaking of planes, back to Nadia herself, we know she was a model, but the pilot thing, not so much. It seems like a fancy cover, and I think we can prove that because of all the videos of her on planes, for which there are more than you would anticipate considering she's tried to delete her entire online presence. The videos we have archived, there's not a single one of her flying a plane alone. Not one. If you can find one, let me know, because she seems to always be the co-pilot or is pretending to pilot the plane. And even funnier, when she's about to take effective control of the plane, as in switch something like the accelerator, there are these well-timed cuts to make sure we don't actually see her flying the machine. Getting focused though, during the same time she is raping and trafficking children, Nadia is also keeping up this weird fake pilot and front company act, flying in planes of various kinds and pretending to be this global girl.
Yeah, being bipolar doesn't mean you can suddenly become the Manchurian Candidate. I know bipolar people, they're not monsters, they're also not dumb. Yeah, no, like one of the smartest guys I know is bipolar. Or is bipolar the word? I thought, isn't it like manic depression? Isn't that the thing now? Or do I have that wrong? Or is it the other way around? I forget. But he has something about psychology. I feel like he has like kind of like an Alfred Hitchcock kind of view of psychology, where he's like, oh, she had this illness, bipolar disorder. That of course makes it most difficult. Like, it just makes your brain weaker and more susceptible. It's like, no, bipolar disorder is like a very specific thing where I believe you like oscillate between extremely manic phases and then depressive phases of neither of those is really ideal, and you need to take medication or find a way to strike a middle balance. I don't know. I am not an expert in psychology either, but I feel like I know more about it than Coop does. I don't know, Skeletino 420. You're bipolar. Like, do you know? Is that? What are your thoughts on this? Why are there so many videos of this pilot in planes? To be fair, about bipolar, I'm also dumb. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's irrelevant to your actual intelligence. You know, you could be bipolar and really smart, like my friend. You could be bipolar and dumb, like Skeletino in the comments here. Just kidding, Skeletino. I think you're smart.
Girl figure. She's doing all these odd things, but what I argue might be the weirdest is she plays this main character role in a really poorly executed pilot prank video, which is also an advertisement.
Yeah, we watched this on the other thing. It's very weird.
For a mobile game back in the 2010s, where I kid you not, Nadia dresses up like a child and pretends to be unable to fly planes. The title of the video is Nerd, but yeah, the kid's jacket and teddy bear and glasses and pigtails, yeah, you're not trying to look like a nerd, you're trying to look like a child. And this video, for the few who have seen it, was a little too on the nose, as they're commenting the same thing. It seems to show us, once again, that Nadia certainly is not a pilot.
Fly 430, yes.
Oh, can the plane shoot?
It used to be able to shoot, not any longer. It used to have 6 50 caliber machine guns. Oh, 400.
Does it have air conditioning?
No, it doesn't have air conditioning. You know what? Maybe we ought to just stop.
He should like this because it's not people reading from a script, which he says is one of the main things that makes him suspicious about stuff.
Here, let's go out and see the airplane. How would that be? So what is that?
It's a really cool video. See, it's really cool. I can play against other people in real time and do all kinds of cool maneuvers.
Well, you'll see it's not quite the same, my dear. My dear, my dear, my dear.
And oh, he's just putting the full unedited video in here.
Whoa! Whoa!
Right now I can try one?
Okay, airplane.
Oh! Yeah. Oh, I thought this was a commercial for Teddy Fresh. I don't think it was for a game.
Whoa! Wow, where did that come from? That was pretty amazing. So how to do that?
ATP and aerobatic pilot. Hi to the camera.
The worst part about that video, it's whatever, it's creepy and stuff with context and Epstein and everything, but the worst part about it for me is that she doesn't really let him think it's a prank for more than 3 seconds. Or not a prank. She doesn't let him think it's real before she's like, and by the way, I'm actually a pilot. Haha, sorry, I lied.
It's all. Did we get you? You guys got me. I've been had.
Some of you may be wondering why.
Notice not once do we see her hands in the
You got it? Some of you may be wondering what kind, and that's what I think this guy, it would be nice if he spent more time researching. I think he should spend a little bit more time editing.
Some of you may be wondering why.
Notice not once do we see her hands on the controls of that plane steering it, nor do her arms even appear to be on the controls. And this same trend can be found across all of her content. Not once is she flying alone, which is a dead giveaway to me that she can't actually fly a plane, and that her FAA certifications are frauds. But even stranger are some of the locations she chooses to fly to. My favorite, due to its obviousness, being the most infamous, world-renowned island, which, if I'm not mistaken, can be seen right out of the front window of the plane in this one video. But not to fret, you guys, it's all a mistake. If you recall, Nadia's lawyers were kind enough to let us know.
Yeah, is that it? It definitely could be. Hard to say. But maybe. That's Wisniewski.
But not to fret, you guys, it's all a mistake. If you recall, Nadia's lawyers were kind enough to let us know that she is the real victim. This all is very intriguing, but one must wonder why then this is all going on. Typically, a trafficking ring doesn't make itself as public as possible, and in Nadia's case, she went so hard for the cover that she generated an online presence and persona that eclipsed the actual Gulfstream brand in size, at least on Facebook. And realistically,
okay, that's not what that means.
The only reason to do this is to make an extremely complex cover story, because to most, including all the articles from the mainstream media one can find, Nadia is referred to as a pilot and in most cases a victim in the same report. And so this cover story has worked. There's an article I found from the early 2010s which contains an interview with Nadia under her new nom de plume, Global Girl, after being sued by Gulfstream. And it, along with some other information...
Is there some advantage to having really long videos on YouTube? Do you get more money from a 45-minute video than a 15-minute one? Yeah, more ads play on each video. So if you get the same amount of views on a 3-minute video or an hour-long video, you get a lot more money from the longer video. That's kind of what I've been doing on my main channel. Long-ass videos. But I'm going to try to settle down. I'm going to try to bring it back. Pull it back. Because I can't keep doing these long-ass videos.
It shows us that the cover was better than one could hope. And it is worth noting that in the interview, or one of the interviews, Nadia was shopping for a new plane for a client, which we can pretty healthily assume was Epstein. But in the article, Nadia goes on a long...
Why would you do... Okay.
Rant about how she wants to inspire little girls to become pilots and she wants to be a role model, and that she loved getting to meet people and having fans write her messages and send her pictures, and she really tried to go all the way and appear super kind and innocent, to the point that if you didn't know who Nadia was, you might think she actually was innocent. But knowing what we do now, it all flips on its head and just seems very disingenuous and evil, in all honesty. We have the same girl that we know, Nadia, saying she wants to train little girls to become pilots and offer discounted flight trainings, and is now getting put in contact with little boys and girls and is spending time with them, as well as impressionable young men and women who admire her and want to be just like her. This is the same chick who offers one-on-one interviews with her stewardesses, and fun fact, that is the longest word you can spell with only the left hand of your keyboard. Stewardesses. But back to the topic at hand.
Oh, that's actually That's a delightful fun fact. Stewardess is the longest word you can spell with only the left hand, and lollipop with your right. And yeah, it works. Whoa, cool. And did you know, oh, this is crazy, the longest word you can spell using only one row of the keyboard? Typewriter. It's true. Isn't that crazy? That feels like it's got to be on purpose or something.
You can spell with only the left hand of your keyboard.
I love shit like this. Man, Coop, throw some more fun facts in here.
Stewardesses. But back to the topic at hand. The same woman offering those interviews and moan-filled advertisements is now being put in direct contact
yeah, I do think that that's the case.
with impressionable children and young adults. I'm assuming you are seeing the conflict of interests here. Thankfully, someone archived this video for us so we can get a real example.
No, these videos are all on. Look, he's even showing the clip. This is like, I don't need to go to, I can just go youtube.com/Aviloop. This is not an archive page. This is just, it's on YouTube. They're there, they're up. The videos with the telltale meows in them. And Ashley, like it's up there.
Hi, welcome to Cole's Flight School on Avaloop.com.
Oh, it's only one of my ears.
My name is and I'm your deal attendant.
Brutal.
Anyone who claims that humans were not meant to fly never experienced the thrill of their own successful landing. If you've been bitten by the flying bug and you want
Let's see if the meow's in here.
to add multi-engine to your pretty green license, this is your opportunity.
Okay, I heard that one. I heard it. Okay, all right. It does sound more to me like somebody stepped on a rubber chicken, though.
Your pretty green license. This is your opportunity.
Yeah, no, I get it. But no, nobody had to archive these. They're just up. They're up there.
You are seeing the conflict of interests here. Thankfully, someone archived this video for us so we can get a real example of the level of effect that Global Girl, quote unquote, is having on the flying community. And you're gonna notice a trend that I very much don't like.
Oh, sorry, he's talking about a different video. Oh, gotcha.
Way too many kids for my comfort. This whole Aviloop thing, though, seems to come to an end in 2019 when Epstein was arrested, and there's been basically no updates or no new information on the site since then. And Nadia's socials are all gone except for the archive posts that we've been looking at. And depending on which Aviloop link you click, you might even find out that the website now says that it's under maintenance. However, despite these setbacks, not the entire trail has gone cold. Aviloop itself stopped operating ostensibly, but not in reality. When researching the business filing information, a second name for the company popped up for me, where although still technically named Aviloop LLC at the end of the day.
Okay, actually, and I'll hand it to him. I didn't find this, and this is actually interesting.
They have this other name which they can sell products and services under, and that other name is Aviatri, or Aviatrix, but without the X. Very creative naming here, I know, guys. Okay, interruption for me, number 2 today, but altogether like number 4 at this point. I learned that the business filing address for Aviloop, if you look back in history, was originally set for Mark Epstein's building in New York. And we all know Mark Epstein is the suspicious brother of Jeffrey Epstein that was supposedly somehow an artist and then became a multi-millionaire real estate developer in New York. Just wondering where he got that money from. Besides the point,
though, he was business partners with Epstein. It's not really a mystery.
Another direct connection back to Epstein and the trafficking. And on top of that is that the same building owned by Mark was also a place where Epstein had rooms and apartments where he would take these quote unquote model girls and have them stay there to take advantage of them. Whole lot of stuff's coming.
Yeah, he said he was 1 year old in 2004. So he's like, what, like 27 or something?
Full circle here. Some of those girls, in fact, many of those girls were in all likelihood supplied by Nadia herself, maybe even through this pilot identity and the model identity. Crazy stuff, you guys. And you should not be surprised to find out that, like the name suggests, this business has been aimed at females, specifically female pilots or females curious about becoming a pilot. And this site, much like Aviloop, offers discounted lessons, flight school help, funding help.
Oh, wow. So there's okay, cool. Interesting.
Courses and everything in between to help you on your pilot journey. And unsurprisingly, a bulk of the images on here are stock images, including the second photo in this series of a chick wearing little clothing, dramatically walking away from her.
What? No way did you have to censor that. You're telling me that, what, she's got her boobs out or something?
However, if that wasn't the giveaway that they are connected directly, Nadia herself appears on this very same website, telling us that this is definitely hers as well, although admittedly the different parts of the site are strewn across the internet, so it made it extra difficult for me to actually confirm this was hers. All this to say though, it would appear that after the Aviloop links were made when Epstein was hit again in 2019, Nadia then hopped onto a proverbial escape raft and tried to cover her butt with this other front company, that being Aviatri. The Instagram for Aviatri is still live, so I thought maybe there's a chance I could learn more. I doubted it, but I still thought it was worth a shot, so I put my alter ego Jesse Hines, the aspiring pilot, and reached out across basically all of their platforms trying to get in contact with anybody. However, despite days of waiting, no one from Aviatri has gotten back to me, which was so rude and forced Jesse Hines back into her shell and former career of selling fent on the street. In short, Aviatri is another empty front company. I take these business reporting sites.
Yeah, I can. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll give it to him. That's very interesting. I didn't know about any of this stuff.
With a grain of salt, but I wanted to also add in here, supposedly it was reported that Aviatri did over $5 million last year in annual revenue. I doubt that's true.
That actually means less than $5 million. That's what that symbol means. It supposedly did over. No, Less.
Because these are typically wrong, but if it is true, I'm gonna have to wonder where those 5 M's just came from. Let's continue. At this point, there was really only one more thing I could think of for us to go down to see if I could get all the information possible about Nadia, if she's still with us, or if there was anything else relevant that we needed to know about her. At which point, I went to a website that I won't name and did a quick search I won't describe, and got a verifiable list of Nadia's closest connections via publicly available data that haven't seen the light of day. And you wouldn't recognize these names on CNN or Fox.
Yeah, somebody who isn't like me or Coop needs to do the work on this, because there is something going on here. Whether it's a money laundering front or just like one of those weird like Epstein businesses that he would just park money in so it couldn't be taxed or whatever, or there's actually something more sinister going on. Somebody needs to do the work.
Propaganda. They're not going to mention them ever. And the only one that's seen attention is an Epstein accuser that this platform linked to Nadia. So I decided to take an hour, maybe it was 2, I won't lie, out of my day, whip out the burner phone and call every single one of the people listed. And what I got in terms of responses was rather surprising. So out of the numbers I dialed, about 7 picked up. And out of those 7 that picked up, every single one, without fail, upon hearing the name Nadia, or in some cases before I even got her last name out of my mouth, they hung up on me. And many of them very obviously lied to me because these lists of connections don't lie. The error rate is like 5%, and I've cross-verified most of these people, and I know for a fact that they all seem to also know each other and not just Nadia. And they share many of the same friends, and despite all of this, there were people who were still willing to deny vehemently that they didn't know her, and even got a little nervous at the idea of someone connecting their names. And here are a few of my favorite calls. Hey, I'm calling about Nadia Marcinko. I'm calling for any information you might have on the matter. Is this... No. Are you familiar with who I'm talking about? I have those 2 names. Yes, you are. Yes.
Man, you got to be smoother than that. Like, I don't know. I've been a telemarketer, and what he's doing there is he's getting the person on the other end of the phone to put up some walls. Yeah, it'd be more, build some rapport a little bit. You call in and be like, hey, how are you? Yes, this is, I was hoping you could help me out with something. I'm looking for information on Nadia Marchenko. Like, you got to be like, wait. He's just like, hey, call for Nadia Marchenko. And you got the right number. No, I was called, are you this? Like, you know, you don't want to get a phone call from somebody who's like accusing you of shit. Anyway, I think his heart's in the right place there, but that's not what, that I would hang up on that shit too. Yeah. Like if some stranger called me and asked me about my friend. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Coop is confirming his own bias, 100%.
Hello?
Hey, is this...
No, sorry.
Yeah, they think you can't just be okay.
Don't you try me like that, you cheeky bimbo. Do you not know who I am?
Okay, that's fucked up to do an Indian accent. You know what, Coop? I'm done. Just joking. We'll keep watching. Wait, what did that say? Blank has more than 4 numbers under her name and approximately 15 associates who also know Nadia. This is blank, lol. Okay.
This is Roger. I'm writing a story about one Nadia Marcinkova, and I was wondering if you were familiar with her.
No, sorry.
Can I ask a follow-up question really quick?
Sure.
Nadia Marcinko, that name... Ho-ho! Yup.
He wants to get the clips of people hanging up on him, or he's just bad with people. I don't know.
That's what I thought. I'm sorry, I think our call got cut off. That's very awkward.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message when you...
Where does this guy stand in Trump's relationship with Epstein? I believe I saw in this video, he mentioned Trump and was like, he's definitely involved or something like that. But I can't remember exactly what it was.
Recording, you may hang up.
Your voicemail box is glitched or you're on the phone right now. Either way, give me a call back. I know that you know Nadia, so I would appreciate any information you could give me.
Bro.
And you'd make the 4th person who has hung up on me at the mention of her name. Thank you.
Dude, what's the point of doing that?
Have a great day.
Why are you wasting your long distance minutes?
Hello?
I'm calling about Nadia.
Oh, God.
Are you serious? Could it be more obvious than that? Nah, you're not escaping me that easy. You best not pick up this phone then. You are the 5th person to hang up on me at the mention of that name. Do you have any information for me?
Don't do that, bro. Dude, you're never going to, even if they don't know anything about Nadia Marcinkova, if somebody approaches you like that, you're going to fucking do it. You're going to be like, well, fuck you. Don't call back. Like, I mean, maybe they are, but you want to get clips that actually prove your point a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I do get the feeling a lot of times with these sorts of channels. Like, remember we watched that thing the other day about Charlie Kirk some guy was like, look, if you go on Google Trends and you type in the Utah hospital name in Google Trends for Israel, someone was searching that Utah hospital 2 months before Charlie Kirk died. And look, here's the name of one of the doctors at this Utah hospital. Someone in Israel was searching. And it's just like, that actually doesn't mean anything. Google Trends is not really that useful really at all, but it's only a little bit useful in the cases where there is a high volume of searches and you can chart the up and down, because it only goes from 0 to 100. It doesn't actually tell you the amount of searches that is, but it can be helpful to see what days there were a lot, what days were not. If it's just one search or just like the things all the way to 0 and then one day it goes up to 100, like that doesn't really tell you anything. So, but like we watched that video and this guy was like so confident that this proved that someone in Israel was researching Utah hospitals because they wanted to check that whatever, Charlie Kirk wouldn't be able to make it to one after they assassinated him. And we watched that clip and I was just like, oh no, that isn't accurate. You know, a lot of us in the chat were like, no, that's not how Google Trends works. But like since then, I've seen that same clip by that guy in so many other videos about Charlie Kirk, and people are just like, wow, this is really convincing. And I think like the game for a lot of people who are like conspiracy researchers or like influencers is not necessarily to actually get to the truth, but to like come up with a way. It's almost like theater. It's like a performance of research like this, where it's just like, wow, and everyone hung up on him. But if you actually watch it, if you've ever, I don't know, for me, this is like, I don't know if it comes off like this to everyone, probably to a lot of people. I think like a lot of people in the chat are like, oh no, this is crazy. But like the way that he's approaching these calls is like, it's making me cringe as a former telemarketer. Like this is not how you get through to people over the phone. It's very jarring to get a call from someone you don't know. You're working at a business or something like that. You're trying not to waste your boss's time. Like you really need a lighter touch. He's going in right off the bat. He's like accusatory. And it's just like, if he really wanted to get this information, wouldn't he go about it in a different way? I think he's purely doing this for the clips because you're the sixth person to hang up on me when I mentioned that name. Like, bro, no, don't do that. Hey, how are you? How's your day going? Good afternoon. Oh yeah. You gotta be really nice. You gotta come off nice. You gotta make them build rapport, get them to like you, get them to like talking to you, like gently, like wait till you bring their walls down a little bit, let them invite you in. You're kind of like a vampire. Then you ask them about Nadia Marchenko and you do it in a very casual way. You don't make a big deal out of it. He's doing everything wrong. It's like, wow, they hung up. Well, definitely my theory is right.
Call you back in a minute there. I think she has something she wants to tell me.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? It's Joe Jonas. You have reached the voicemail. In a message, she's not here right now, but make it detailed. Don't forget your name or where you're from, and add what you'd like to eat.
Wow, Joe Jonas made that girl's answer machine? That's awesome.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.
Watch him be like, I never expected this. The Jonas brothers are in on this too. Joe Jonas bears a striking resemblance to one of the women in the stock images on the Avatrix website. If we zoom in on his cheek dimples here, we can all agree he's extremely dreamy.
Funny they deny it, but hey, maybe they are in the 5% gap where this incredibly efficient data scraper was wrong about their connections to Nadia and Epstein. You know, after I got the contact list in part from another known employee of Avialoop who also worked at Aviatree. And I also want to keep in mind that most of these people were in their 20s to 30s. And so despite living in the current culture and in the worst economy in history, they all have to be living in high-end houses or apartments, most of which cost a minimum of $1 million to the highest I've seen that pushes $3 million. Not going to give any more information than that, but that seems like they have some serious money despite having no meaningful employment records to afford such a home. Call me cuckoo though, but Coop thinks something is up. And always follow the money.
Follow the money. But you didn't do that. That isn't what you did at all in this. All right. Yeah, I mean, so that's it. That's the whole video. Yeah, with Coop, I don't think it's a bad channel. I mean, I'll still watch it. Like, I mean, I learned some shit in there. I don't want to totally shit on that guy. And I have like looked into the Nadia Marchenko stuff before. I feel like I spent a little bit more time in my analysis of it on like things that are more grounded in reality. I think he got way into the fucking weeds at certain points, but I did appreciate his research was able to uncover this other website, which indeed does appear to be another version of Avaloop. That's a big deal. Good on him. And I also like that he was able to connect. The business was registered to one of Mark Epstein's properties, something like that. But it bothers me, especially once it's one thing to be like an online researcher, right? Whether it's like conspiracy theories or if you get really into serial killers, like if you get into like My Favorite Murder or something like that. Or remember when that podcast Serial came out and everyone got into Adnan Syed, his murder case he was in prison for, and everyone was like, he was innocent, and started looking into it. Like, it's one thing to do all that, right? That's all fun and games. It's actually like, it is pretty intense to like actually reach out to people who are involved in the case and sort of, bother them with either like the most traumatic moment of their life, like the parent of a missing child who you think looks like a girl in one of the Avaloop videos, or someone who worked with Nadia Marcinkova, even to give them a call and be fucking aggressive and combative towards them. Like, that is fucked up. Like, I mean, obviously there's the risk that maybe these people are, they do have information that we would like to have. And what have you done? You've like scared them away. You've made them more cautious to other researchers who might want to reach out and be more approachable and like not so whatever confrontational. But with the fucking contacting the cop and telling him to call the mom of the missing Ashley, who's been missing for like 20 years when she was 15, and be like, is this her? To like, bro, like, you can't do that shit, man. And there's a whole thing there when the Serial fan base, Serial was getting big, but how people were like reaching out and calling the people in the fucking podcast as if they were there. Oh, hey, I found this fucking website with a blah, blah, blah. Have you seen, there's a Reddit post that really explains. It's just like, don't do that. That's fucked up. For you, this is a podcast you're a fan of. To them, this is their life. This is the fucking friend or their daughter who died, was brutally killed. Like, don't do that shit. Anyway, I don't know. I do not support the part of this video where he's like, you never know. Sometimes you gotta make a difference. You should always reach out. It's just like, no, you really, I don't think so. In rare cases, yes, but bro, you're not really on the cutting edge here, man. You have not come up with anything enormously worthwhile sharing with people who this is more than just a fucking, game of content creation and audience building. I'm sure they are less excited than you about the fucking strange noises in the background and your evidence that you can hear a fan, so must be on an island. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Sandy Hook I can't believe I didn't think of that example. That's the worst one. That is the worst one, because they were like, not only were they like, bothering these people, they were like, you are a crisis actor, you are a liar, you never had a child, and blah, blah, blah. You're evil, you're a Satanist, you're fucking blah, 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 New World Order, That was the worst one. That's actually like a very extreme. That's what I mean. We're just asking questions and ignoring answers. Do your own research. That's what we do. Yeah, Google Trends is broken, especially for low volume searches. Like when we were looking at the Israel thing, I was like, really? And I went to Google Trends and I typed in the exact same shit, and I got, for the hospital or whatever, I got no results at any point in history. No one ever searched it. And then I tried Canada, and I got a massive spike, like right before the Charlie Kirk murder. So I was like, oh, was it somebody in Canada doing it? So yeah, I mean, you really gotta know what the fuck you're talking about. Recently, another example of this type of shit. Have you guys seen this shit? Have you guys heard about this? The fucking Blaze, where is it? Blaze Media. Former Capitol Police officer, a forensic match for January 6th pipe bomber. So there's a pipe bomber video here. Somebody on January 6th, the part of the Capitol riot, the insurrection, had a pipe bomb. And they're like, they are a forensic match for January 6th for a former Capitol Police officer. So this is part of the whole conspiracy theory that actually January 6th was a fucking op. It was a psyop by the deep state. And the FBI had all of these people pretending to be Trump supporters. And actually, Trump supporters didn't want to do that. Even though they did want to do that, and they're supporting it, and they wanted to do it, and they're a lot like, we have clearly been monitoring, far right talk about January 6th for a long time, this is not a mystery. No. Actually, none of that was real. It was all actually the deep state doing it. So this is more evidence for that theory, which has gone on before. A computer program that compared the bomb suspect's gait to that of Shani Kirkhoff produced a 94% match. So what is it? It's a fucking AI examination of gait analysis. Software algorithm analysis walking parameters, including flexion, knee bend, hip extension, speed, step length, cadence, and variance, rated Shawnee Ray Kirkhoff, 31, of Alexandria, Virginia, as a 94% match to the bomb suspect shown on video from January 5th, 2021. The veteran analyst who ran the analysis for Blaze News said, based on visual observations the program could struggle with, he personally pegged the match at closer to 98%. Okay, cool. Unnamed source, unnamed fucking AI program that's used for like athletes to watch how they run and be like, oh, I should run better. This is not a fucking forensic, like, this is not fucking fingerprints or DNA match. This is a algorithm that said that they walk in a similar way. But this is the type of shit they got. Like they just got something. They just got something and they're like, oh, it looks like something. Oh, like, and this is massive right now. Massive. Who's it by? Steve Baker. I think I saw Steve Baker posting about it. Steve Baker. Bring out the receipts like Steve Baker has or shut the hell up. Here we go. This might be the biggest scandal and conspiracy in American history. This is the guy talking about his gait analysis article. Many heroes were involved in bringing this to light. Some we can name in coming days, some who want no recognition. And there's much more to this yet to be told. I hope she sues the living shit out of you. Oh, you have evidence that contradicts what's in the article? How accurate is this gait analysis? From POV citizen journalism, are there millions of other Americans who would also be a 92% match? It's very accurate. Not an answer. Oh, what's this? Can you really ID someone by their walk? I don't know what website this is. Oh, this is that guy's website. POV, citizen journalism. Too long didn't read. Compares movement patterns. Courts, especially in the UK, have admitted this kind of opinion evidence, but guidance stresses limits and careful wording. Bottom line, video matters when faces are hidden. High quality public footage can supply motion cues that keep investigations going. That's exactly the problem POV is built to serve. But that doesn't answer the question. If it's a TLDR, it should give me the answer to the question. How accurate is it? It's inconsistent. Courts expect transparency with error sources and limits. It's been used in some real cases in the UK. Courts will hear gate evidence, but will almost always as one piece of a broader evidentiary mosaic. Yeah, unnamed intelligence sources discuss additional video analysis. These assertions have not been confirmed by the FBI. If they were, I wouldn't really believe it. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really done a deep dive on this, to be honest. I do like this photo, the Bigfoot, the 67 Bigfoot gate analysis. That's funny. It's a perfect photo for that. But yeah, but I mean, anyway, long story short, like a lot of the game, if you want to be a disingenuous, shitty ass fucking conspiracy guy, you don't need to actually get to the bottom of anything. You just got to show something, because like a lot of people are convinced by conspiracy theories like flat Earth, shit like that, like the really out there shit, not by hearing something that made so much sense that it instantly changed their mind, but by hearing a bunch of little things that individually are not at all convincing. But if you hear enough of them, people do change their minds on shit. People can become pilled slowly, right? And almost everyone in flat Earth, or maybe not almost everyone, but a lot of people who get into flat Earth, they're like, this is so stupid. Oh my God, let's watch this fucking documentary. And they watch an hour-long documentary. It's full of little ass things like that. And they're like, I mean, it's still stupid, but there was a lot of stuff in there. And then they'll watch another one, and then they'll just sort of slowly start to believe it more and more until they realize, oh shit, no, I actually believe this fully. And I feel like that is what Coop is kind of going for a little bit. I don't know. I'm kind of trying to like armchair psychoanalyze the guy, and I don't really know him. I don't know what's in his heart. I don't know what he believes. I don't know. It's all very silly. I would say there are some conspiracy people who I really don't like, and there's some conspiracy guys who I don't agree with on almost anything, but I still like. I like Flesh Simulator, and I don't really agree with much of what he says. Some of it I do, but I like his stuff. I think he's good, and he's coming at it from a good place. The other end of the scale, I'd say that guy, what's his name? Tyler? No, what is it? The dude that looks like a fucking villain from like old timey. Oh God, I've wanted to do a stream about him for a while. He's got like a fucking mustache. He just doesn't seem that smart. Ian Carroll. That's it. Ian Carroll. And this guy's fucking huge right now. This guy's massive. He just blew up so quick, it seems to me. But like, look at this guy. So follow the money, seek the truth. Follow the money, seek the truth. All these guys are like using all these like old school conspiracy theory, like follow the money shit. Like Coop just ended his video. Until next time, follow the money. Look at this fucking guy's thing. His number one link here is this app Buyer about shopping. This guy doesn't seem that smart, but he does, like, I don't want to believe that this guy's a fascist, but this guy loves like Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens. He's been on her show a bunch of times. He does think that Epstein did like cause the 2008